What if I told you that most of the money you think exists doesn't? Seriously, the numbers in your bank account aren't piles of cash sitting in some vault. They're just promises. But here's the real question. If money isn't even real in the physical sense, why do billions of people trust it every single day? We work for it, trade for it, fight for it, and even panic when it loses value. Yet most of it is nothing more than digital numbers that could vanish with a power outage. So how did humanity come to believe in this shared illusion? And why does it still work? Let's break it down. Stick figure style. Imagine a caveman named Bob. Bob hunts mammoths. His friend Alice gathers berries. One day, Bob says, "Hey Alice, I'll give you a chunk of mammoth meat for a basket of berries." Easy trade. Everyone's happy. But then things get complicated. Alice doesn't always need mammoth meat. Maybe she wants fish instead. Now Bob's stuck, his meat's spoiling, and his wealth smells terrible. So people start trading directly, what we call barter. But barter is messy. You can't easily trade a half cow for a new pair of shoes. You can't carry your wealth around without a herd following you. That's when humans come up with something brilliant. Instead of trading goods directly, they use something else to represent value. At first, it's shiny rocks, shells, or salt. Later, it becomes gold. Why gold? Because it's rare, shiny, and doesn't rot. But the real reason is psychological. Everyone agreed it was valuable. It's like humanity collectively said, okay, this shiny thing has power. That was the first version of trusting what isn't really valuable by itself. Gold couldn't feed you or keep you warm, but people believed it could be traded for those things. And that belief, not the metal, gave it value. Fast forward a few thousand years to ancient China. Carrying bags of gold was heavy, risky, and inconvenient, so the emperor's officials created paper notes that represented gold stored elsewhere. Each note said, "This paper equals X amount of gold." Boom. Paper money was born. At first, people could go to the treasury and exchange their paper for gold. But over time, something interesting happened. People stopped checking if the gold was actually there. As long as everyone believed the paper had value, it did. Money became a shared story, a symbol of trust. The gold wasn't important anymore. What mattered was the promise. Now, jump ahead to today. Open your banking app and look at your balance. See that number? $1,000? Maybe more? That's not paper. It's not even gold. It's just data. Ones and zeros stored on servers. Here's the mind-blowing part. When banks lend money, they don't move cash from one vault to another. They often just type new numbers into existence. Literally. New money appears on a screen, and suddenly it's real. If you're thinking, wait, isn't that fake? Yes, but also no. It's collectively imagined value, backed by trust in the system. As long as people believe those numbers mean something, they do. So what actually gives money its power? Not metal, not paper, not code. It's trust. Trust that others will accept it tomorrow, trust that the government won't destroy it, trust that the economy won't collapse. Every time you accept a $10 bill for your work, you're basically saying, I believe this paper will buy me lunch later. And everyone else agrees. That's the foundation of our entire financial system, shared belief. But here's a crazy thought. If everyone in your country tried to withdraw their money at once, the banks would run out because the money doesn't physically exist. It's mostly digital, numbers, promises, and computer code. That might sound terrifying, but it's actually how modern economies work. Money flows like electricity, invisible, powerful, and real only because we all play along. Let's visualize this with a simple example. Stick figure number 1 deposits $100 in the bank. The bank keeps a little in reserve and lends it to stick figure number 2. Now both figures think they have money, one in savings, one as a loan. The total money in the system just multiplied. Not because anyone printed it, but because trust expanded. That's the magic of modern finance. That's why we call it fiat currency. Fiat means by decree. Money has value not because it's backed by gold, but because governments say so, and people believe them. But what happens when people stop believing? That's when the illusion cracks. Picture this. Prices skyrocket, people rush to banks, store shelves empty, and stacks of bills are worth less than toilet paper. That's hyperinflation, when trust collapses and money turns back into meaningless paper. It's like waking up from a collective dream and realizing the gold was never really there. And now, in our digital age, a new form of belief has emerged: cryptocurrency. Bitcoin says, we don't need to trust governments or banks, just math. Instead of believing in an institution, people believe in code, decentralized, transparent, and limited. It's digital gold, not because it shines, but because we believe it does. But even Bitcoin relies on faith. Faith in the system, the math, and the people using it. Once again, value comes from belief. So whether it's paper, plastic, or pixels, money is still an agreement, a story we all tell each other every single day. Let's zoom out and see the big picture. Cavemen traded meat, barter failed, gold appeared, trust in shiny metal. Paper came next, trust in promises. Then digital money, trust in code. Every step wasn't about what money was. It was about who people trusted. The object changed, but the belief stayed the same. And that's the deeper truth. Money isn't just about economics. It's about psychology. It's the biggest shared illusion in human history. But it's also what lets us build cities, fly planes, and order pizza from the couch. Because as long as we believe, the system works. The illusion becomes real, not because it's tangible, but because it's trusted. Picture this. A stick figure holds a glowing dollar sign. It flickers between a gold coin, a paper bill, and a digital icon. Around them, the world, stores, homes, people, all connected by invisible strings labeled trust. The figure smiles, realizing money was never the paper. It was the promise. So next time you look at your bank balance, remember you're not just looking at numbers. You're looking at belief in digital form. Money only exists because we agree that it does. It's not the coins that move the world. It's the trust behind them. And as long as we keep believing in that shared story, the illusion stays alive.